Here's what's happening this week from Main Street to Wall Street. President Barack Obama gave his inauguration speech on Monday as he laid out a huge plan of what he expects to do in his next term. High on the agenda was the talk of a need to move towards sustainable energy resources, and he said that the United States needs to finally respond to the threat of climate change. When it came to markets, though, there wasn't much said by the president. In fact, the word market was mentioned just once in the speech as he said, "Free markets thrive when rules are there to ensure competition and fair play." We also saw that the debt ceiling, or the debt limit, was pushed back by 4 months by both Republicans and Democrats in the House of Representatives. A market strategist I spoke to said that this would actually be good in the short term for markets, as investors can jump in without having to worry that the United States government won't be able to pay its bills. But I also spoke to a Democrat who was speaking to the reason that this works out well for the GOP. And what she said was that it's time for them to move on and forward to discuss the budget and other spending cuts while moving away from a time where they have very low approval ratings. If they can get through the budget discussion and they can get through the sequester, when the debt ceiling comes back up, they might have a little more leeway in negotiations. And finally, another political operative spoke to me about what this meant for Democrats. And this operative said, quite frankly, Democrats didn't even have spending cuts on the table, and they weren't sure what they were going to have to do. This is a big deal because they have to, according to this strategist, discuss spending cuts on things like Medicare and other entitlement programs. And finally, in the SEC, President Barack Obama, just on Thursday, nominated SEC Chairwoman Mary Jo White as the next incoming chairwoman. And what we saw with Mary Jo White is she had formerly been the first woman appointed as a U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. Many people might know White as the person who prosecuted mafia boss John Gotti and others who were behind the 1993 World Trade Center bombings. She's never been with the SEC before, and KBW sent us along this note, which said, "We expect the SEC's investigators to become more aggressive, but at the same time, more thorough under White." It continued, "We expect Ms. White will need to do some on-the-job training before proposing new policies." Look forward next week to the manufacturing survey, some FOMC minutes from the Federal Reserve, and a GDP report. That's what's happening this week from Main Street to Wall Street. I'm Joe Doe, The Street.